Good afternoon. I'm Mi Jeong Kim from Jeong University. I'm going to present our ongoing research design principle of user interface for the elderly in health smart homes. Let me talk about smart environment first. Our homes have been recently transformed into smart environment by incorporating computing, such as wireless network interface, augmented reality, or context-aware computing, into domestic setting. Smart home or digital ubiquitous home can be constructed to support the resident activities. The focus of our research is on user interface, especially for the elderly. This table shows a framework of health smart home service for the elderly presented by me in the spring workshops. There are 4 dimensions, but for this research, we deal with domestic setting and human-computer interaction. This photo shows some example of smart home, specifically living room and bathroom, which can be incorporated with digital computing. For this research, we are more interested in 3 elements: household object, appliance, and furniture. We believe smart home might have more potential for all the adults, preserving independence and quality of life in their own residence. But the problem is the elderly are not familiar with digital technologies, but they have difficulty in handling digital systems. But there is a little research on the elderly's interaction and experience in health smart home using systematic method and evaluation metrics. So we believe usability and user experience are the essential issue for the development of the health smart homes. This example shows how our picture of human interaction with the everyday object will be or should be. So this sofa look like conventional one, but they are incorporated with some design, computing ones, multimedia things, MP3 or computer or some sound speaker, etc. The aim of our research is to develop design principle of the user interface for the elderly in health smart homes. For this aim, we firstly review previous research on user interface and pick up the critical criteria, especially related to usability and UX in the user interface. And we also reviewed 5 representative design guidelines for the environment design support the elderly health home life. And also we drew out specific criteria associated with the elderly's reduced abilities. And then we structured those extracted criteria into a framework of user interface for the elderly, with a focus on assistive technologies for supporting their healthy housing life. So there are 3 background areas for this research. The first part is the smart technologies, which can enhance the quality of life. Advancement in sense technologies and wireless communication give many opportunities to our healthcare and wellness management. They enable independent living and improvement of quality of life for individuals. So emphasize mobility, wearable biomedical healthcare systems have become one of the important research areas in smart technologies. This photo shows some standing wheelchair examples. So we think to enhance the comfort and security of elderly in practical, the development of a user-friendly device or interface is critical. So the way of interaction between the elderly and the system is a significant research issue in the design of a user interface. The second background area is design principle of the user interface. We believe human-computer interaction should be intuitive and natural. So many researchers have proposed how we can make a natural interaction in user interface. So Norman proposed visuality and affordance of user interface play the important role for the naturalness of interactions. Schneider emphasized the concept of direct manipulation for enabling the natural use of interface. We think tangible user interface might have the potential for support the elderly usability and UX, because the elderly could learn how to use this tangible user interface based on their everyday skill. They don't need to learn how to use it. So tangible user interface allow tactile manipulation and physical expressiveness by coupling digital information with the physical object and environment. So this illustration shows how typical human-computer interaction, such as graphical user interface of desktop PC, have been transformed into tangible user interface. So now the world becomes interface. I'm not sure how many people have heard about this popular system, wearable systems. This is developed by a PhD student in MIT Media Lab. Actually, he was the professional interface researcher in Microsoft company. So by using small camera and beam project and just marker, he developed this unique system called fluid interface. So now you can see some digital the phone number in his palm, and by pushing this button in his palm, he can make a real call. And also here the right photo show he's watching some movie file on the newspaper, just physical newspaper. So actually I prepared some movie file for this example, but he asked me to keep the schedule, so I just keep it. And this table shows some key property of tangible user interface. Ishi and Umer mentioned about the picture for the tangible user interface: computational coupling of tangible representation, embodiment of mechanism for interactive control, and perceptual coupling of tangible representation. And Honecker proposed tangible interaction is associated with embodied interaction, tangible manipulation, physical representation, and embeddedness in a real space. And Jacobs et al. Proposed a framework for post-WIMP interface on the reality-based interactions. You can check the detailed information in this table, so I just move on next slide. And the third background area is the environment assessment tool for the elderly. We reviewed 5 representative environment assessment tools for the elderly. The first one is a multi-phasic environment assessment protocol. It was designed to assess the residential environment for the old people, ranging from congregating housing to nursing homes. It described the personal and social characteristics of a resident, and then related this factor to the architectural, policy, and social climate resource of their settings. And the second one is the nursing unit rating scale. It defines 6 global constructs devised to influence how people with dementia adapt to institutional environment. And third one is professional environment assessment protocol. It is designed to be completed by later who possess substantial knowledge and expertise in person environment design research. And fourth one is the environment audit tool. It is the environment assessment tool for the evaluation of Australian residential facility for people with dementia as well. The last one is the EVALV is a tool evaluating the design of housing for older people. So from this critical review of the assessment tools, we extracted some critical concept of the assessment environment design for the elderly, as shown in this table. So based on our review for the previous research and assessment tool, we developed a framework for design principle of user interface for the elderly. This framework is composed of two categories: tangible interface properties and supportive interface properties. And the first property has subcategories: manipulation, intuitiveness, representation, context awareness, spatial interaction, and social interaction. And second category, second properties include these subcategories: digital literacy, accessibility, physical and sensory support, simplicity, safe and security, and self-control and stimulations. You can see the detailed explanation in this table. And this is the conclusion of our research. As I said, it's still ongoing one, so we need to develop more of this framework into the principles. So previous research on user interface have proposed general usability criteria, methods, tools. They didn't consider special condition of the LE. So this research emphasized user experience and human-computer interaction for the elderly, and especially in user interface. So this framework will be extended to a practical evaluation tool through the further studies. So more detailed design principle and a formal checklist will be produced. And then empirical study will be conducted using this principle or checklist. So we think this proposed design principle could be a basis for the perspective of future direction on user interface for the elderly in smart environment. So through this research, we realized various evaluation methods for the usability need to be considered for the elderly to develop a novel evaluation tool by considering the elderly characteristics in the context of use of system. Because the current user interface have been transformed into some Freud interface or tangible user interface. There are so many potential in a new interface, but the previous criteria have just included that conventional interface or conventional context. So now in this research, we try to develop new framework based on current context by combining digital and analog advantage in developing user interface. Thank you.